Scott Steiner. What was it about Scott Steiner that rang perfect tag team partner for this match?
Well, he's unpredictable, and I wanted someone who the fans haven't seen for a while and who would get a reaction unlike anyone else, and Scott fit the bill. It came down to him and my good friend Lashley, and Lashley's got other plans for Slammiversary. He'll be defending the World Championship. He was bummed that he couldn't be in the match, but he's got other things to do, and I think that Big Papa Pump is going to be the perfect partner for myself.
Absolutely. How did you get in touch with Scott, and how did this whole?
Well, I mean, the wrestling business is a small business. Everyone knows each other. I watched in awe when Scott was in WWE and as a kid in WCW and all that stuff, but I was actually there in person when Scott came to WWE for the first time, and I always thought, man, that guy could do some serious damage, and now he's my tag team partner on the biggest night of the summer.
Absolutely. A couple weeks ago, you had a chance to get in the ring and mix it up. It's the first time you've been in the ring wrestling in a little bit. How did it feel to get in there and really get your feet wet again?
It felt good. I thought that I'd be sore afterwards, but I wasn't. We made the match several weeks ago, so when the match was made, I decided that I needed to up my my gym game, and I felt good. And it's going on probably over a decade since I have been in a ring, so getting in there and with Sandeep was it was fun. It was an experience.
Yes, and going back to Lashley, luckily he came out and helped you out when things looked like they were getting a little tough. It didn't look like you really needed too much assistance, but thank God he was there to come in and help you out, and finished it on a good note there.
Well, I don't even know what Shira was thinking getting involved in my business.
Yeah.
The guy has no reason. I think he was lost, quite honestly. He just sort of tumbled out there, and I'll deal with Shira when the time's right.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of Shira, Impact for the last 2-3 weeks or so now, you guys were in India. I mean, I believe it was you guys were the first professional wrestling promotion to do TV tapings in India well ahead of the time. And, I mean, it looked like the crowd was just electric. I wish I could have been there. I mean, the first time you guys went out there for that first taping, take me through what's going through your mind, through the feelings, the atmosphere, and how you felt going out there in India.
I mean, it was great. We have been trying to get there for quite some time, and we finally accomplished it. And, like you said, we were the first American-based pro wrestling company to broadcast our flagship show, or any show, from Mumbai. And there's 1.6 billion people over there, and from a business standpoint, it's a market that we need to be heavily involved in. Absolutely. And we went over, and it was just phenomenal. The fans were incredible. 4 weeks worth of impacts. So we'll wrap up next week, and it'll be the final impact before Slammiversary. So it all just fit together perfectly. And, the 26 hours of travel to get there, you forgot about it once we got on the ground, and it was just awesome. The reaction of the fans was amazing.
Awesome. I've got to talk about the rivalry with JB. I mean, this is a deep-seated, I almost want to say hatred between you two. I mean, you can tell. I mean, it's fun to watch, but how hard has it been to not go at it before Slammiversary?
It's been tough, and Bruce Pritchard made the edict that neither one of us can physically touch each other before we get involved in this match, and I think it was a smart decision because it's going to boil over, and they needed to protect the integrity of the broadcast booth. But, I think that, Jeremy thought that, lo and behold, the day that Mike Tenay was done with calling the shows, that honor belonged to him, and it went a different direction, as life sometimes does, and that didn't sit too well with him.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like you're able to have a little bit of fun because you can say pretty much anything, and he can't lay a finger on you. And even if he wanted to, you've got Scott, you've got Lashley, you've got all these guys there to back you up. So, I mean, it's smart for him not to do it, but how much fun are you having being able to say pretty much anything you want, and you can't do anything about it?
I mean, I pretty much said whatever I wanted before Bruce made this ruling. I mean, from a athletic standpoint, I mean, I'll let my resume speak for itself. Next to JB's, I started out as an athlete. I was an athlete my entire life. I still consider myself an athlete. So it's going to be, and he's known about this match as long as I have. So, all the training that I've done, I'm in the office every day, 9 to 5:30, but I have found time to get into the gym, whether it's at night or, in the morning or whatever, during lunch, and I don't intend on embarrassing myself on the 2nd.
Well, and I mean, I feel like you and Scott have the obvious upper hand in this match. I mean, JB, really no ring experience whatsoever, and then there's Joseph Park, but take them against you and Scott Steiner, and I feel like you guys have the upper hand on this one. I don't know if they know what they're really getting themselves into with this match. I mean, it's going to be a one-sided battle.
It's a spectacle of epic proportions that I think that if you've gone along on the ride with us, and it sounds like you have, it's going to be a lot of fun. And July 2nd will be the payoff for this incredible story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the reason you guys probably won't steal the show is I feel like your guys' match is the event. That's the match that everyone wants to see. But outside of your guys' match, what match on the card are you looking forward to seeing the most? For me, it's EC3 and James Storm in the strap match.
Yeah, that'll be great. I'm looking forward to the main event, obviously, with Lashley and El Patron, because I think that's going to shape the future of Impact. And then my buddy D'Angelo Williams, to see him get inside a ring, a current NFL running back, a free agent right now, but he's going to sign with the team, and to see this story from the very beginning. The first phone call that was made, D'Angelo called me, and we started talking about different stuff, and now to see it actually come to fruition on the 2nd is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And the Impact roster is just loaded right now. In recent memory, I mean, you've been on the Impact broadcast team spearheading it for years now. What match, if you can pick one or a couple, have been some of your favorite or storylines to call in Impact?
Babyface Rockstar Spud versus Kurt Angle might be the best call of my career. Spud, when I first moved to Nashville and started working here, Spud was the first person that I met and the first friend that I made coming to Impact, and he lived here, and we spent a lot of time together. And that character, the babyface, the small guy, I could relate to it, obviously. And then he got in the ring against Kurt Angle in what was just a great match, and it happened. I think it happened in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it did.
It was, and that might. I get the match with Spud and EC3 confused, but I think the match with Kurt and Spud. Spud wore this kit. That's what they call a soccer uniform in the United Kingdom, and Spud wore this kit that was symbolic of some team. It's a story I can't remember, but I told the story beautifully as Spud was walking down to the ring. And we sent the show off, like we do every week, to Destination America, who was our partner at the time. And they called back and said, we want him to change the call because it's too UK-centric. We're Destination America. Like, that's our thing. It's too UK. The show's in the UK. He's talking about the UK. We want him to change it. And I refused. I said, I'm not doing it. I said, it's perfect. It is perfect. And our head of television at the time decided to concede, and we changed it. And I'm still upset about it to this day because that original call, it was perfect. And then Spud sang the national anthem, but that match probably is the best call of my career to date.
Well, and he was in his home country too. I mean, you just can't the automatically going in to that match. That it's going to be an electric atmosphere. I mean, so that adds to it. So
yeah.
But I mean, you're not going to be calling at all on Slammiversary. I mean, Robert Flores and Don West are going to be calling the action at Slammiversary. I mean, is it going to be odd not going to the broadcast table or the broadcast booth for any of Slammiversary and being in the locker room getting ready? Or are you going to be able to put that past you and just focus?
No, I'll be able to focus completely. I had a long talk with Roflo about a week ago. He's excited to do it. I'm excited to have him call our match and him bring some of that outside sports broadcasting to one of our events. I mean, to say that it's it'll bring more mainstream eyes on the show if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, and I was going to touch on that. I mean, I feel like Impact right now is it's in the best state it's been in years right now. The talent roster is so deep. The storylines are so realistic. I mean, it's fun to watch, and I feel like bringing D'Angelo and Robert in, it can only add to, and I feel like we're just on the cusp of becoming one of the top, if not the top promotion in wrestling. I mean, there's not a lot of real great competition out there right now. Impact is just growing in strides right now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels great right now. It really does. And to have those guys come in. And, I mean, look, there's a reason that the competition was having a guest host every week. I mean, you do different things to bring in different eyeballs, and you do different things to bring in someone that may have watched in the past or hasn't watched. But, D'Angelo Williams is a household name. And when people see that he's actually going to be wrestling, and they may say, okay, I'm going to order this pay-per-view to see that, but then you're going to watch the other 3 hours, and you may see something that, oh, okay, that's cool. Or, oh, I didn't know that guy was there. Oh, wow, that's interesting. And, hopefully this helps us tremendously.
Absolutely. I mean, I made my wife watch Impact this yesterday because she hadn't seen Impact before. And she's like, what's all this? I'm like, this is the X division. It's like the cruiserweight division, but people actually give a shit about this. It's great. It's fun. You don't want to go take a piss during this. It's fun to watch, and just from beginning to end, it's just great. I mean, I love Impact right now. So, I mean, Slammiversary is going to be great. But being able to go into the ring, are you getting the itch to wrestle more often after, being so close to doing this? Or do you think it's so weird for me because when I became an announcer, like that was it for me. Like the wrestling part of my life was over, and I made that decision. And it's also weird because on June 19th, 2002, when Impact had the very first show, I was supposed to be on that show. I had a contract I had a contract to be on the first 5 or 6 episodes, signed, sealed, delivered. And I called Impact, and I said to Bob Ryder, who I had never met at the time, who's become a great friend, I said to Bob, can you guys please rip up my contract? And Bob said, let me call you back. And he called me back in about 10 minutes, and he said, done. Go work for WWE, and we hope you have a great career. Damn.
And now, 15 years later, I'm going to be competing at Slammiversary. So it's funny how life works out, and but I couldn't be happier. I love Nashville. When this all started, when my career at WWE came to an end, I had an opportunity to either go to Lucha Underground to start with them or come to Impact. I had a contract sitting on my desk at home for both companies. And Nashville was the reason that I decided to come to Impact. I didn't want to go to LA because my deal is different from a lot of people. Like, I want to work in the office. So with Lucha, they were in LA, and I visited them, and I saw the temple, and I was blown away by everything. And I had an opportunity to work there in their office, or I could come to Nashville and work here. And I chose to come here. And it's just, it's great. And hopefully everything comes full circle, and we'll see where this crazy world takes us.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see you in the ring more often. I mean, it's very clear last week that you've got definite wrestling skills. You know what you're doing. And I mean, as far as being a heel, I feel like you are one of the best heels in all of wrestling right now. I mean, how much fun is it to come out and just like, you're a heel, you're a definite, you like to make people boo you. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, it's interesting. In my quiet time at home with my wife, I expressed concern over where this is going and how easy it is for me to manipulate people and to do this. And, we laugh about it and share different emotions over it for sure. But with social media and where we are in life in 2017, like, it becomes you and you can't let it. So in between the 11 interviews that I've had today, I've gone out and purposely picked up after the dog in the yard and spent time with the girls in the house because I don't want it to be all consuming, because it can be. And when that happens, it's going to we're going to get to another level, I think, and it's going to be very interesting.